Okay, so relationships, we all have them, right? And sometimes, maybe even often, they throw these curveballs at us, things that really shake us up.
Oh, definitely. And there's a particular kind of pain, isn't there, when trust gets broken? Betrayal. It just leaves you feeling completely adrift.
Yeah, adrift is a good word. Like the ground just vanished beneath your feet. You question, well, everything.
It's huge. It's not just about the relationship anymore. It feels like it hits your whole identity, who you thought you were, who your partner was.
Right. And figuring out how to even start navigating that mess, it feels almost impossible without some kind of guide.
Exactly. Which brings us to why we're doing this deep dive today. We're looking into the work of Vanessa Cardenas.
Vanessa Cardenas. She calls herself a relationship reset expert and also a betrayal recovery specialist.
And we're basing this on the materials you share at her website, obviously the Relationship Reset Manifesto. She has info about her services.
And those specific articles, like the one
Yeah.
you mentioned, finding first the one about traveling after betrayal.
Ah, yeah, that Paris piece. Can we even enjoy a vacation together after betrayal? That one. Wow, it really hit me.
How so? What about it struck you?
Oh, it wasn't just, practical travel tips. It was so raw, so honest about the emotional reality of trying to do something nice, something potentially wonderful like a trip to Paris.
When the foundation's just rubble?
Exactly. When betrayal has just shattered everything, it really captured the trauma, the trust issues, just how incredibly hard it is to even try again.
Hmm. It sounds like that piece really encapsulates her whole vibe, that lived-in wisdom you mentioned,
It really does. You can tell she's not just talking theory. It feels like she's walked through that fire herself.
and came out with actual tools, real insights, not just, scars.
Totally. Actually, I first heard about her from a friend. They worked with her after infidelity pretty much destroyed their marriage.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And they said she changed everything for them. So that's what sent me down the rabbit hole, her Substack,
Yeah.
YouTube videos, her book dealing with the devastation.
Yeah.
And honestly, after digging into all of it, she kind of feels like the best kept secret in relationship healing.
Best kept secret. I like that. It fits, doesn't it?
Hmm.
Because she tackles this incredibly painful stuff with such, well, directness, but also real empathy.
Yeah. And that Paris article is such a perfect example. She talks about the turbulence,
Uh-huh.
not just the airplane kind, but the emotional kind. The unresolved stuff simmering just below the surface, even when you're trying to have a good time.
So the idea that Paris isn't a fix.
Exactly, that it can actually make things worse if you're not careful. It totally busts that myth that, a romantic trip will magically heal deep wounds like betrayal.
Right, like 2 tickets to Paris becomes this metaphor for the whole messy emotional journey. You're going somewhere supposedly amazing, but you're dragging all this heavy baggage.
Mm-hmm. And it shows how betrayal messes with your nervous system, right? Puts you on edge even when you should feel safe or happy. Her work really gets that deep emotional impact.
It seems like acknowledging the turbulence, not pretending it isn't there, is central for her.
Absolutely. Honesty seems key. And another thing that really stood out from that Paris piece again was how she names her inner critic.
Oh yeah, nasty chic.
Nasty chic. It's kind of brilliant, isn't it? It makes that awful inner voice feel more human, maybe less overwhelming.
And gives you some distance, maybe. Like, okay, that's nasty chic talking. That's not actually me.
Yeah. It gives the pain a voice, acknowledges it, but helps you kind of separate from it, reclaim a bit of power.
That balance she seems to strike between the brutal honesty about the pain and still holding on to hope, that feels pretty unique.
It really does. It's definitely not toxic positivity. It's more like, okay, this is devastating, and here are the tools to move through it.
So what does that moving through that healing actually look like in her framework? It's clearly not just about grand gestures.
No, not at all. It seems to be in the small moments, like that scene you mentioned from the Paris article.
Her crying in the bathroom stall.
Yeah, at the Moulin Rouge.
Yeah.
And her husband, he doesn't try to fix it. He doesn't rush her or minimize it. He just waits. He's just there.
Wow. That hits hard.
Right. It shows healing wasn't happening like under the Eiffel Tower lights. It was happening in this tiny, painful, private moment.
And his response,
Yeah.
it speaks to that line she uses, doesn't it? Presence matters more than perfection.
Exactly. It's about just being there, witnessing the pain, holding space, not trying to be the hero who fixes it all.
Which highlights how she bridges the inner world, the person crying, dealing with nasty chic, and the relationship dynamic, the partner's response, the presence.
Mm-hmm. Her work seems to constantly connect those two pieces. The sources talk about reclaiming your sense of self, changing that inner dialogue to be more compassionate.
Getting free from that fear of judgment or rejection that betrayal breeds.
Right. And then also providing the frameworks for the couple rebuilding trust, learning empathy, vulnerability, real communication skills.
So it's not an either. It's both the internal work and the relational repair.
Yeah. Seems she has private coaching for the individual path, couples coaching for doing it together, and then this other thing, coaching for self-reflection and change.
What's that one about?
That seems geared towards understanding the why behind choices, especially maybe for the person who caused the breach. Building empathy, accountability, breaking unhealthy patterns, really crucial stuff.
Okay, so she offers these different avenues. How does someone actually start?
It looks like it begins with these initial foundation sessions. The goal there is clarity, getting a handle on things, and creating that roadmap forward.
And she offers that no-risk start guarantee for the first one.
Yeah, I saw that too. Basically, you get the session, you get actionable tools, you get the roadmap, and if you don't feel it delivered, you get your investment back.
It's pretty confident.
It really is. It takes away a lot of the fear for someone who's already feeling incredibly vulnerable and hesitant, you know?
Huh.
It's like, just try it. Let me show you the path.
Okay, so beyond the personal experience, which is clearly powerful, what else backs this up? Why does her guidance resonate so much?
Well, the sources point to a really interesting mix. There's the personal lived wisdom, obviously, but then there's her professional background, over 20 years as a C-suite executive.
Right. That brings a certain strategic, problem-solving mindset, doesn't it?
You'd think so. Applying that kind of high-level thinking to complex emotional situations, it's a unique angle.
It's like blending sharp analysis with deep emotional intelligence. Maybe that's part of the secret sauce.
Could be. And then add the formal credentials, a psychology degree, certifications as a post-betrayal transformation coach, a trauma coach, life coach, even a mental fitness instructor.
Wow. Okay, so she's really covered the bases.
Seems like it. Plus, she has practical experience running these huge online support groups, like tens of thousands of people combined in the Facebook groups mentioned.
Humans navigating betrayal, divorce support. Yeah, that's a lot of real-world insight into what people are actually going through day to day.
Exactly. So it's this blend, the academic, the executive experience, the specific coaching certifications, the deep personal journey, and the community pulse.
That multifaceted view probably explains why it feels so grounded and actionable, less like abstract theory.
Yeah, more about tools for real life, even when life is really, really messy. Which brings us back to her core mission.
Resurrecting the art of
Yeah,
communication.
resuscitating the heart, yearning for connection. It's about rebuilding fundamentally, but doing it with truth and clarity, not just trying to smooth things over.
Okay, so summing up this deep dive then, Vanessa Cardenas offers this really potent, comprehensive approach to healing after betrayal. It's deeply informed by her own story, but also very structured and actionable.
Right. A path for transforming your inner world and also for rebuilding connection, whether that means repairing the relationship or finding peace moving forward separately.
So for anyone listening who's maybe in that place, navigating that specific pain of betrayal, feeling stuck, lost,
Or just wanting to rebuild trust, maybe starting with trust in yourself. Exploring her work seems like it could be a really, really important step.
and maybe here's a final thought to chew on, something sparked by her story, especially knowing she's still married after going through all this.
Mm-hmm.
What if these devastating relationship crises, like betrayal, aren't just endings? What if they're actually, well, painful catalysts
Catalyst for what?
for real, deep personal growth, for forging connections with yourself, maybe even with your partner that are actually more authentic, more resilient than what you had before?
That's a powerful idea. The possibility of building something stronger because of the break, not just in spite of it.
Exactly. So if that possibility resonates, if you're ready to maybe explore that path, her website is understandingyear.com.
And her call to action says it all, really. Start healing today.